Process. I'm your host, David Andres. This podcast discusses life and business topics where I ask a whole lot of questions, we tell a whole lot of stories, so that all my viewers can achieve their desired outcomes. This podcast is sponsored by David Benegas of BenegasArt.com. David's a good friend of mine. He creates incredible oil paintings. You can check him out on his website. He's got a good YouTube channel, but he converts your favorite photograph into art. He also has some incredible animal art, whales, horses, zebras, and he also does characters like Spider-Man, Batman. Check out David Benegas, and if you mention FYP, he'll give you 5% off your first purchase. This podcast is produced by Stephen Tucker of Livestream Remote. Stephen's in Golden, Colorado, and he's a dear friend of mine, and couldn't do this podcast without Stephen. Thank you, Stephen. On today's episode, I am just super excited. We promoted this. It's streaming live on 5 Facebook channels and my YouTube. So welcome, whichever channel you're watching. I have 2 amazing people who I'll be introducing, Curtis Ingalls and Patrick Keissling. Curtis Ingalls is the CEO of several companies, which I'm going to let him describe. And then he's recently brought on Patrick as a partner in NexGen Sanitation, which is what we're going to talk about probably last. It's a franchise business in the portable sanitation business. I've been in this industry for 30 years. There was a bunch of Johnny on the spots, but I haven't been able to nail if they were ever a franchise. I talked to Jess Thompson. I talked to the guys in St. Louis, and they don't remember it being a franchise. So who knows? Maybe this is the first franchise. And also, for full disclosure, as we get started, Follow Your Process will be writing the playbook for Curtis and Patrick so that those portable restroom operators can understand how to do the business and get up and running as quickly as possible for success. So Curtis, welcome. And Patrick, welcome. Nice to have you guys on.
Thank you.
We're really proud to be here. Thank you very much, Patrick, for being with us.
Yep. And Patrick is in West Virginia, and Curtis is in Denver. And of course, I'm in Houston. So Curtis, tell us a little bit about, I saw you had a couple of press releases yesterday. Why don't you tell my audience what you're announcing?
Yeah, so obviously a couple of big announcements for us. 2 things. Many of you may know me from Crapper King, my business that I've been running. Dave and Pete and a bunch of other folks have been really great on getting me up to speed and helping me get going over the last couple of years. And with Crapper King, I was buying and selling used equipment for the portable sanitation industry. And that was going great. And then I found a new supplier of equipment that was looking to have a distributor. I myself signed up to be a distributor for the Peapod, which is built in Canada, and went ahead and was able to become their largest distributor. Had a really good success selling it, and made the comment to the owner, at some point I'd love to own this company. Well, as of officially yesterday, I now own the Peapod company. We've bought all the assets. We're going to be bringing the Peapod production to Colorado, so it will be made in America. And we're going to make some interesting changes to it. The big thing with this announcement is that we're starting the process, and we're going to be moving it down. So we are going to be starting a injection molding business that actually will be the largest injection molding equipment in the mountain states. And the goal there is really to open that up. Right now, there's only a few places in the country that have injection molding equipment of this size. It's going to be 3,300-ton press, so absolutely enormous. It comes in 3 giant shipping containers just to get it. But yeah, we're super excited. And that's the first step. So getting that to become, an American-made product, and that couples in well with our second announcement. The second announcement, obviously, is that we're launching the NexGen Sanitation franchise, which will be the exclusive user of the Peapod unit in the United States.
Wait, so
we'll still be selling the Peapod globally.
So hold on. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think I need to flush this out because you just said a whole bunch of stuff. You got it. So first of all, Crapper King, let me go back to Crapper King. I met Curtis in the chat room, Sanitation Conversations on Clubhouse. When Pete and I were doing that, he was on, Wendy Cross was on, Really liked the guy. I didn't really like the name of his business, but I've settled on accepting it, right? So I used to be on the PSAI board where I had to call up the companies that use some crazy names and say, listen, we're trying to stay away from that funkiness. Anyway, so Crapper King, and he did it for attention, and he certainly got attention. But I have a client in Denver, and I'm helping him source suppliers, right? So everything from software to stickers to trucks, and he's got somebody that wants some crane units. So there's these metal things that sit on the outside of a plastic porta-john that allows a crane to pick it up and sling it, and hit all the suppliers were like April, May, like done. So I said, did you ask Curtis Ingalls at Crapper King? He goes, no, I didn't. I said, well, here's his number. I sent over the V card. I told Curtis he was calling, and Curtis had like 10 of them there. And a couple hours later, he went and picked them all up. So that's what Crapper King is. He can sell your equipment, and he can also help you find equipment, even if he doesn't have it in stock. This Peapod thing. So wait a minute. You're now going to be a toilet manufacturer. Like
Absolutely.
Curtis Ingalls.
So
Unbelievable.
Curtis Ingalls at Peapod Manufacturing, we're going to actually take over all production. So the goal is we want to continue the enhancement. The Peapod's been around. They've been working on it for the last 6 years. And you guys probably had the opportunity, if you went to wet shows in the past, seen some of their presentations there. But what we're going to do is we're really going to take it to the next level. One of the biggest announcements we're going to be making is we're switching to 100% recycled plastic on the unit. So we're the very first portable toilet company to actually make 100% recycled. A lot of companies have had a base that was recycled plastic, but our entire unit will be recycled plastic. We're also going to be adding a thing called Microban 24, and that's an antimicrobial that will actually make the entire unit get rid of any viruses, microbes, any of the little things that tend to cause or transmit things from one person to the next. So if you touch the toilet paper dispenser, the next person that touches it, everything will have been killed before they even touch it. And there's no chemicals. So the nice thing is it's built into the plastic, and it'll be there the entire lifespan of the plastic. So we're really going for hygiene and simplicity. And so we're going to be adding some other things to it. We're already made our announcement about the air vote. We're going to have air vote by standard on every single unit that we produce.
You're going to put air vote in every Peapod in all your franchises, like as baseline,
You got it.
Because I would have recommended.
We're actually going to include it in all Peapods globally.
I would have recommended that in my playbook, but you're already ahead of the curve. And that's what I like about you, Curtis. And we've talked about this, but now my audience, I talk about Curtis Ingalls, and you're actually helping the industry. I mean, you're actually raising the bars in the industry, and we need you, and we need everyone that's already in the industry to keep raising the bars, right? So I know I mentioned the playbook and whatever. Let me help you all understand that. I have a core structure that's not rocket science. You all know about human resources, job descriptions, marketing, and I'm excited to work with Patrick, and he's going to share some of his stuff in a minute, because I've never worked with a franchise. I've never set up a franchise. I don't think I'd ever buy a franchise, but that's just my personality, whatever. But I'm excited to see what I understand about the industry, what I understand about how to clean the toilet, what I understand about the hiring process, which is all these nuances of my playbook, I'm going to be offering it to. Now, I also get some people like, well, are you taking this client's playbook and sticking in that client's playbook? No. What I do is I give you a structure. I ask you what you have already. So Patrick's going to have a bunch of things. And then I come in alongside and help it become more personal to, say, NexGen Sanitation, or to J-Bar, or to Waste Solutions of Iowa, or to Stallion. Those are a bunch of my clients. And so they each get their own playbook that has their own nuances. And then the other thing I'm happy to announce is that we're going to be doing a whole video series, because I love video. Stephen Tucker is actually coming with me to the Reno show next week. You're going to get to meet Stephen Tucker. He's a wonderful gentleman. He's going to be tracking me around like Gary Vee has somebody with a camera around him, which is the first time in my life. I'm pretty excited about it. And by the way, there's also a scavenger hunt next week at the PSAI where you need to go find a new member I'm really excited about this, and I just wanted to share with my audience what it means when Dave says he's going to help you write your playbook. So go ahead, Curtis. So you're going to not only. So what's interesting about Peapod, and I've seen it for years. I don't know what I thought about it. We were always satellite people or whatever, and I wasn't really buying toilets. And I recommend all suppliers, by the way. But you're saying that the only way to get Peapods in the future, all this 100% recycled and all these innovations with the antibacterial and whatever else you're going to do, you can only get it as a franchisee. Yeah?
Exactly. So one of the things we wanted a unique and different way to approach the market. And so we saw a lot of consolidation. We all know in the sanitation business, the big guys continue to buy and expand. We've seen these in all the different regions. We actually just had one here, actually two here in the Denver area recently get purchased. And one of the things that I saw is that there's fewer and fewer small locations, small businesses out there. And that's one of the things we're hoping the franchise will do, is to help foster and increase the number of small businesses out there. That a lot of these have been getting swallowed up by the large companies, and we're hoping to increase the number of providers as opposed to decrease the number of providers. So it's a different tack. And one of the big things that we're able to do and pivot quickly for our folks is they're going to actually have the equipment on their trucks at all times, and they're going to be able to swap between a drop tank, a flushing tank, a recirculating tank right there in the field. And so if a customer, and they're doing their normal route, customer says, I need 2 more toilets, they literally take 2 toilets off the back of the truck, because they're going to be able to store 12 to 20 toilets on that truck at all times.
So I think you're relying upon my good friend Bob Danone up at Crescent Tank, right? And I love Bob.
Absolutely.
If you Bob Danone at Crescent Tank. He actually has an email that has ACSI in it. And when I first met him, he was repping ACSI trailers, and he was doing special events up in New York, and he had a small business. He eventually sold that to Jeff and Brian Moravec, which became, I forget what they called it. But anyway, Crescent Moon, they called it, which they then sold to Reliable Onsite United Rentals. And they're now out. So these big companies buy companies. There's a workout session, and then the people go off into the sunset. But anyway, Bob Danone has this amazing truck that has the waste tank and the water tank in the bed, and it holds 6 units. The tailgate down holds 8 units. And he makes them all himself up in New York. And I think his lead times are a little bit quicker than some of the others I've heard about.
Yeah, and actually, because you say it holds 8 units, and that would be traditional units. The beautiful part is because our units stack 3 high, that 8 actually translates into 24 units on a single truck. So what would normally be a truck and a really good-sized trailer in order to get that many units, our drivers will be able to have that number on there if they want, or as they're going out, they may have 12 new units, and they may be able to pick up 12 units on their route. So there's really a game changer in the way we handle things. Our business is also going to cater, we're going to have some specials for veterans. And our goal is to try to help and welcome them in. And then also, we really believe that anyone, male, female, of any physical capability will be able to do this, because we're going to be providing a way, we're going to have a power lift and a cart. Obviously, we have the Tommy lift and things like that for the deck, but anyone will be able to move these units around and service them. The great news is, as I said, we have 3 different tank options, which means we can actually slide the tank out and take it and go service it where the truck is. So if your hose isn't long enough, we always will be able to service the unit. We'll be able to take an empty tank, slide it in. Even if the tank is frozen, we'll slide that out, put it on the truck, put an empty tank in, and then be able to
I remember you talking about, I remember you talking about the high-rise units and some of these innovations. And what I do when I hear this is I call a bunch of people. I called Ross Ambrose. I call some people that have it, because I like to talk to the guy that's been playing with it. And it sounds like, because he had some concerns, they sounded legitimate. I brought them back to you, and you've addressed all of the concerns. Let's not get into it. I think there's a video that is just a short little video on Peapods. You want to? How about we play that now? Steven, are you ready to go with that?
Yep. Give me 1 second. Just intro it a little bit.
All right. So this is so Curtis, why don't you intro this video? Tell my viewers what they're going to see.
Yeah, so this is our standard intro video that shows what is the Peapod and how does it work. When you see it, the tank comes out and you'll be able to see the whole inside. That's how we're going to make sure that it stays hygienic. You think about all the things that get tucked in around the tank on a standard unit. None of that will ever be the case with ours because we can slide that out as we're cleaning it. So take a look.
All right, go ahead, Stephen.
All right, here we go. Okay, this video is very short, guys. So,
Yeah, we don't see it. Give us the countdown.
20, we're at 20 seconds already. We're having a little bit of internet issues between the two of you, but we'll keep going, and you can always get a clean one up, but you guys are doing great. Keep going. We're at 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch back. You're live, Dave.
Wow, that was great. And I've seen him before. That little video is great. Hey, maybe tell the story now about Patrick and how you got hooked up with him. And let's get into like NexGen Sanitation stuff.
Absolutely. So I've known for a long time that my goal was to increase the number of providers. PSAI is really big on being able to support everyone. So I became a member of PSAI at your recommendation and others. And so a year ago, and then also I noticed that Peapod was a PSAI member as well. So I reached out and said, hey, I want to take some of what we're doing and I want to find somebody that knows how to do this. And I reached out and Patrick responded. And after he and I chatted for a little bit, we knew we were clicking. We had the same vision, and he had the right experience. So, Patrick, let me turn it over to you, and you can tell a little bit about yourself and the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So a little bit about me, I really want to kind of move back because one of the questions that I always get from people is what is franchising? So what is franchising as a whole? What does it mean? What does it mean to a business owner? So when I talk about that, like one of the things that always comes to mind with franchising is McDonald's, right? Like everyone's heard of McDonald's. It's on every corner, across the entire country. But what most people don't realize is that there are literally thousands of franchises across many different industries. So across the fitness industry, the food industry, home repair, you name it, any type of service business, there is a franchise operating in that space. So that question of like, what is franchising? I like to define that and just simplify it and say, and David, you touched on this earlier, is it's a business in a box is basically what it is. So it's a business that has a playbook that's already written as a franchisee or a franchise owner of that business. You just need to follow the playbook and build the business in your local market. Go ahead, David.
So it's interesting. I'm on Facebook groups, as is Curtis, and I think you will eventually or whatever. And there's a ton of great groups about portable sanitation, about septic, about roll-off, all this sort of stuff. And it's great because it's a casual conversation, people asking questions. Mm-hmm. So a guy was on there, I won't name him, a guy was on there and he was asking about, how to grow his business or sell his business. Mm-hmm. So I DM'd him, we had a chit chat. He picked somebody else to be his broker, maybe to try to sell it. And then just last night or this morning, he asked the question, what's the advantages of what do you get? What are the advantages of a franchise? And I think you just nailed it. You pay a fee, obviously, right? I mean, so you have to have capital, you have to have investment capital, you have to buy equipment, you're going to have to get leases for equipment and everything else. But the cool thing about this is that I can't wait to watch this, guys. Like, I'm going to write the playbook about how to operate the thing once you have it. But I'm going to watch and learn what it is about franchising. And I'm admitting that I've always been reluctant or resistant or haven't paid attention. Like, whatever, I don't know. But now because of this, I'm going to be right next to it. So I'm going to learn, which is great. So I really appreciate your openness to that, and can't wait to be with you in the wet show. Patrick's coming to the wet show. I'll be at the wet show. Anyway, so you get to buy a portable restroom operation in a box. Like, you get to start it up, open it up, and off you go. So that's the advantage. That's the advantage, and it's not for entrepreneurs that want to be independent, and so it's actually not really. It's brand new to the industry. Where you and I were talking about this. It's going to attract people that would have never thought about being in the portable sanitation business. All they want to do is they have some funds. They want to stop their 9 to 5. They want to invest, and they want to operate. So talk a little bit about what that's going to be like, onboarding and who you're going to get and how many you want over the.
So absolutely. So thanks, David. So yeah, so coming back to, let's say, just like a business in a box. So franchisee or franchise owner comes in, and just like you said, some people are there, you're not going to be a franchise owner. That's just the way it is. It's in you to build a business from scratch and do it all yourself, do all the details. But there's also a very large group of people, and I'm one of these people in a way, right? So I'm a former franchisee of multiple franchise brands. I currently own a franchise in a different industry. But when a franchise owner comes in, you get a brand name, you get a website that's already built, you get equipment that's needed for the business already ready to go, set up, ready to buy. You get a step-by-step process for your launch. You get vendors that are already set up to help the business, marketing vendors to help you grow. So it's just every piece of that puzzle is laid out for you from start to finish.
So hold on. So I have to interrupt. You were part of Redbox, right?
I was.
And you're actually very humble and you don't promote yourself, but tell the people some of the brands, because I think that's helpful, right? Like everyone in the toilet business knows Redbox. Like every pro I've talked to, they know Redbox. Mm-hmm. And what is it, like there's 137 of them and you had one of them?
I did. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. So my backstory, I've owned multiple franchise brands, but the most recent one that I owned and operated and sold was Redbox Plus dumpster rental and portable toilet rental franchise. So I was the number one franchisee in that system. So I was the very first franchisee when I came in. So that would be considered the early adopter of the system. So an early adopter of any franchise system would be franchisee number 1 to 20. So the first 20 locations, you're considered an early adopter into the system. And there's a difference between being franchisee number 1 and franchisee number 100, right? So when you're franchisee number 1, you work very closely with the corporate office. You are working with them to build the processes, build the systems. You're going through it on a day-to-day basis along with them. And so I was that franchisee with Redbox Plus. I helped train owners coming into the system. We built that business. Eventually, we sold our franchise location, which was in Charlotte, North Carolina. And at that point, I came on board at the corporate office as the franchisor, as the president of Redbox Plus. So, we built that over a couple-year period, and Belfour Franchise Group ended up acquiring that in the middle of 2021.
Belfour Franchise Group, and if you all don't know Belfour, they're disaster response. They're much like Serve Pro, which is a franchise. So Curtis, let me just tell you something, man. You picked a good one. Holy smokes.
Absolutely. The whole idea is to find people to work with that are smarter than you. I found Patrick, who definitely understands this business. I want each and every franchise owner to know they're being guided through with the best products and the best people to get what they got.
Wow, this is amazing. Let me just say here right now, this of course, my title sponsor is David Benegas, BenegasArt.com, but I am open to anyone who wants to sponsor an episode or two. And what it means is we can play video, we can talk about stuff, I can talk about your stuff, we can customize it, Stephen and I can create it, or we can take your already existing stuff. So I just want to do a big shout out here that I'm looking for sponsors. And then let me tell you why I do this podcast. I've been in this business 30 years. I'm a storyteller. I ask a lot of questions. And I wish I would have recorded so many of my conversations. I was at the Pumper Show in Nashville. I love Nashville. And I'm standing at a booth. I'm talking to somebody. And I noticed this guy was basically trolling me off my shoulder. And I sort of ended the conversation, backed away. And he walked up and said, "Hey, I'm Russ Perkins. Nice to meet you." I said, "Hello, Russ." And he was from Nature's Calling, Charleston, South Carolina. He had a Madras belt on. He was wearing slippers, and he was looking like Russ always looks. He's a great guy. I love the guy. And he said to me, "Listen, the U.S. Open's coming up to Bethpage." This is like maybe 2001 or whatever. "Oh, U.S. Open's coming up to Bethpage. I can introduce you to Steve Worthy because he lives in Charleston, and I do 2 golf tournaments for him." I said, "Great." Now, I accepted that. I already had Steve's contact. I was already going to discuss him, but why not take that? So 6 weeks later, he said he was going to invite me to a pro-am. I get a call from Russ, and he'd had a heart attack. I said, "You had a heart attack?" He goes, "Yeah, and I can't play golf. Can you come play golf?" This is like on a Tuesday. I'm driving back from Atlantic City or something. I said, "Yeah, sure. When is it?" He goes, "Thursday." I'm like, "This Thursday?" So I called my wife. I called Gary Weiner. I got approval from both, and I was on a plane. So anyway, I wish I would have recorded that original interaction with Russ Perkins because it's so meaningful to me. I tell the story. So what this is actually doing is recording this today we're live streaming it on 5 Facebook pages. It's on YouTube, and now it will sit in my library. And I can't thank you guys enough. And I'm actually honored and delighted that you're announcing this stuff on Follow Your Process. I mean, you're actually I think this is going to be one of the most watched shows. We're going to share it around. And it's really what it's doing for you guys. And this is for my guests. And if you want to be a guest, you can get a hold of me. Now it's really efficient for Curtis and Patrick to share this video. They can share it with everybody. And they don't have to have the same conversation now they'll have conversation with it. They're very genuine. But if you watch this video and you're interested, you're going to come with a lot more detailed questions and the process. And it's about shortening cycle times in life, right? So this whole thing about moving 24 toilets on a crescent tank truck. I mean, the efficiencies you just described, that's amazing. Right. So I would always calculate when we did the World Trade Center, when I did the 8,000 units at the inauguration with Don's Johns, they're like 8,000. How are we going to move them? I said, how many trucks and trailers do you have? How many can we put at once? And we moved like 142 at a time. And that was a big deal. Now with you add a trailer to the truck. It's going to be a different kind of trailer, whatever.
But
now
again, they can be moved, stacked 3 high. Think about 3 high, 2 wide. The number we can fit on a single trailer is immense. And so depending upon the length of the trailer, you can just take the number, multiply it by 3. If you currently, if it's a 10-unit trailer, it's a 30-unit trailer.
Yeah. So let's get back to Patrick. And so you do have some familiarity with portable toilets if you were a Red Box guy, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
so keep going with what you want. I think you have some bullet points over there, but keep going with what you want to share with the audience about NexGen Sanitation, franchising, and what's next.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk NexGen. So obviously one of our key differentiators for our franchisee, and Curtis has already touched on this pretty extensively, is that Peapod foldable toilet, right? So our franchisees have the exclusive right in the United States for that. So what we love about the business model, number one, is the portable toilet business has been around forever, right? It's proven, it's growing. It's not like we are coming in and creating something new or trying to build an industry from scratch. We know it's already there. And so we've already touched on this several times, and you both have in this call. We're entering a well-established industry. We know the demand is there. And now we're just bringing a product to it that makes it more efficient. So for our franchisees, for our business owners, we have a product that no one else has that gives them efficiencies that no one else has. So those are obviously big benefits for our franchisees. And we're looking for those portable restroom operators who want to build that local business, service their local customers at a very high standard within their market. And that's what's going to lead to recurring customers, building a big successful business over time.
So it's going to be interesting to watch because I have a lot of, is that going to work, or how are you going to do this? And while I have a lot of energy and I am a fire hose of information, I actually want to learn from you, your vision. And this is what I do at FYP. I don't come in and take over. I come in and get alongside. We have to like each other. Like we have to have some affinity. And I'm happy to say that Patrick and Curtis and I have some affinity together, like whatever, like we got past that. Right. And then I want to come in and I share this with Patrick. What's your needs profile? Like, what are your pain points? What are you missing? Right. And we're going to know this over the next whatever. And then I come alongside and help it become you. I don't want it to become me or FYP. I want it to become NexGen Sanitation. I want to add it to Patrick, add it to Curtis. And Curtis is basically like saying, guys, go handle that. Right. So I also think that I don't know if a big portable toilet company would go to NexGen brand because they'd have to exchange all of do they have to get rid of all of their existing toilets, or can they keep those and have Peapod?
Well, I think that's still to be determined, and we would really negotiate that with the individual franchisee that's interested. Obviously, one of the benefits we do have is with my existing business, Crapper King, I do deal in used equipment, so I'm happy to take back any used equipment as well. So we could standardize you on those. But of course,
hey, hold on. I thought you'd fallen out of bed or got hurt or hit your head because you went quiet for a while. But my goodness, my friend, you have been masterminding something. This is masterful. Like this concept, I'm excited about, right? Like you've thought through so many different angles And there's a lot of haters out there, haters of Peapods, haters of Crapper King, haters of whatever. But I will tell you this much, as far as Curtis Ingalls and everybody I've ever introduced them to, they love his customer service. They love his response time, and he helps solve their problems. Like they buy a trailer, they sell a trailer. You know, my guy, Patrick, who got 8, 10, it solved his problem. Right. And that's what I do in my business as well. I help people solve problems. So it's great. It's great to be associated with you guys. It's an honor, actually. It's a privilege. And I'm so excited to watch this happen and be a part of it too. Like it's part of my story now a little bit too. You guys are going to get all the credit, you know, whatever, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So Patrick, what are next steps for somebody watching this going, my goodness, I needed to learn more? Like, what would they do? Who would they contact? How would they reach out to you?
Yeah, so anyone that's interested from this point can go to our website, which I think will be listed here, correct, on the links. Yeah, so there's a tab that for franchising. Go on there, call, fill out your information, submit it, and as soon as we receive it, we'll reach out and we'll walk you through everything we discussed today and more. Obviously, this was a very high level. It was almost a teaser of what we're working on, but we really want to make sure that everyone understands every step of the process. So we realize, as we talked about today, not everyone is a franchisee. Some people are, you know, the independent business owners. So we want the people that see the value of that partnership. They see the value of what we're doing and what we're building. They buy into the vision along with us, and then we grow long-term together.
Wow. That's really good. And I, as skeptical as I am, and I'm just straightforward with it, I actually feel warm and fuzzy that I'm near you because you know exactly what the processes are. You've done it yourself. You've been a franchise, and then you've gone into corporate to make it better, I'm sure, and adjust it. We all need to adjust our businesses, right? We need to be open and vulnerable. We need to ask for help. By the way, I have a website coming up February 1st. I'm excited. It's my first website ever. Actually, no, that's not true. I did have a few before, but anyway, this website is coming up February 1st, followyourprocess.com. And there's going to be some pretty cool testimonials on there. I've never asked for testimonials before. It made me a little, I don't know, uncomfortable, but I need, you know, websites need testimonials, right? And you're going to enjoy it. We're sad that you're not going to be in Reno next week. Curtis, you're going to be in Reno, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to actually be, we've got 3 big shows coming up, and I want to make sure everyone knows. We're going to be in Reno next week. The following week, we're going to be in Miami at the Natural Disasters Show, Expo. And so that's a big one at Miami Beach. And then on the last week of this month, February, we're going to be down in Indianapolis at the Wet Show. So
Great.
Any of those locations, if you're going to be there, please reach out, come to our booth at the Natural Disaster Expo, or find me. I'm available. I'm happy to chat with any of you about this, and good or bad.
Yep.
You know, if
listen,
you guys feel threatened or concerned, just reach out. Let's chat.
Yeah, and they're good guys, man. I mean, you could throw every hook and barb at them. They'll just answer it and whatever. I mean, trust me, I threw some hooks and barbs at Curtis over Crapper King. He will attest to that. And we did it live on Clubhouse or whatever. And then I changed my mind. I'm like, okay, I'll make an exception. But anyway, we're staying at the JW. And the JW is great for afterwards. And so see us in the lounge at the JW. I'll be there. I'm going to the Wet Show. I wasn't sure if I was going to, but now there's so many people going, I'm going. So listen, why don't we close this out? Why don't you just share a goodbye or parting words with my audience, and then we'll wrap it up. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. No, obviously, thank you for having us. I mean, this has been absolutely great to, sit through it, hear your questions, answer your questions, speak with some of your listeners. So hopefully people got a lot out of it. Hopefully we generated some more questions that may come our way. And hopefully I'll see everyone soon.
Great. Curtis, what do you got to say?
David, thank you very much for having us as guests. We appreciate it. It's funny, we met a long time ago, but now it's one of those things like feel like you're part of the team. So, and I really appreciate the being the exposure. That's obviously a big part of it, but also the companionship and the partnership that you're building with us. And for everyone out there, I appreciate it. If you've worked with me in the Crapper King world, we appreciate you, and we're really looking forward to bringing top quality products made in the USA that are green for all of our franchises. So something we're really working hard on, and looking forward to working with each and every one of you.
Well, first of all, you're both very welcome. And I thank you for being willing to do this. The other thing I would say that I'm passionate about and will always be passionate about is getting to zero net waste, zero net water, zero net energy, and zero net carbon. And you should pay attention to this one because there's some stuff that's developing that's going to impact some of those things. So I love the 100% recycled. That's amazing. I love the vertically integrated. You're going to do it on your own. You've invested tremendous capital, right? And I think the engineers are still partners with you, right? So they didn't like just walk away. That guy's still an engineer. But I think that those guys struggled because they were engineers only. They didn't really understand how to do what you're doing. So that's cool. I'm really glad that that legacy is coming through. I think that's important. So thanks guys for being on. And I hope my viewers liked it. If you did like it, I'd ask you to go to YouTube, subscribe to Follow Your Process with David Andres. And then on Facebook, if you could please like the page, Follow Your Process. And then please like it, comment, criticize, whatever you want to say. We're open and we want to listen. And then if you want to be on the episode, all you got to do is reach out to me, DM me, contact me, and I'd be happy to. And right now I'm batting 1,000, guys. I'm 68 for 68. I only had 9 episodes, only have 3 episodes, which means I've got a lot of stuff. And the other one I want to just say is I'm really excited. Let me just give you the teaser for what's coming. None other than David Vanderveen, famous from Excess Energy, and he's now in another group of marketing working globally, worldwide. David and I go back to Wheaton College. I was a little bit ahead of him. He got kicked out of Wheaton, and he's going to come on, and we're going to ask a whole lot of questions and tell a whole lot of stories. And the other thing you're going to get in that episode, make a note of it, is how to leverage social media genuinely with your life. If you go to David Vanderveen on Facebook, nobody is more prolific than David Vanderveen. So anyway, I'm going to be really excited about that episode. And then I also met someone at a restaurant recently. I was out with my friend Chris, who helps me with this podcast. He's my webmaster, Chris Rachetti. And we went to Steak 48, right? So someone recommended to go to Steak 48. So off we go. And we just casually met 2 beautiful people. And she owns a Moroccan spa here in Houston. So I enjoy going to spas or, massage or whatever. And I'm talking about the high, the high class ones. I'm not talking about the other stuff. Anyway, she's going to come on. She's got beauty products. The argan tree, search the argan tree in Morocco. Just go Google that. It's an amazing tree. It's got goats that eat the argan and all this sort of stuff. But anyway, she sells argan oil, Moroccan. So anyway, look out for that one. And then the other one that I just have to give one final prep to, I know Steven's telling me to end this thing, is I fly to Reno tomorrow, or no, Saturday, because Thor Retzlaff asked me to do a walkabout. Now, when a 25-year-old or anyone asks me to do a walkabout, I'm pretty likely going to come do the walkabout because I love the concept. Hey, come do a walkabout. And what it means is he wants to get to know me more, right? So we had a great first call. He's doing some great stuff. And you look at my LinkedIn, Do Good Shit is his 501c3. Anyway, I'm going skiing with him on Sunday. And there is a video I posted on my LinkedIn where he is the director of photography. And he uses a drone down in Patagonia. And I asked him this is for an upcoming episode you want to watch out for. He's bringing the drone on Sunday. So there's going to be footage of the old me. I ski from 10 to 2, like not too hard hills. I know how to ski. I like to ski, but my legs aren't as strong or like whatever. And we're going to get some drone footage of me and Thor skiing out there in Reno. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Please go and subscribe, like, and post. And gentlemen, we'll see you next week in Reno. And Patrick, we'll see you at the end of the month down in Indianapolis.
Thank you, David.